I never thought a courtroom could feel like a battlefield. The moment I walked through those double doors, I knew tonight wasn't just about money, it was about every ounce of respect I'd ever been denied. My parents were already there, sitting side by side, faces flushed with anger and entitlement. Their lawyer handed me a stack of papers, each one a demand for every dollar I had, from my savings account to my retirement contributions. Before we go further, hit subscribe and drop a comment below if you've ever had a family drama that made your jaw drop. I'd love to hear where you're watching from. I took a deep breath, gripping my purse like it was a lifeline. My palms were sweaty, heart racing, but I forced myself to stand tall. The judge, a woman in her mid-40s with sharp eyes and an unshakable calm, glanced over the files and then up at me. Her expression didn't say sympathy. It said, "Explain yourself or regret it." My parents didn't notice her yet. They were too busy staring at me like I owed them more than blood and bone. If this sounds intense, smash that like button and let me know in the comments what you would have done in my shoes. My mother leaned forward, voice dripping with false innocence. "Faith, we've supported you your whole life. Now it's time to repay us. Every dollar." My father nodded behind her, his lips pressed tight, the kind of tight that screams anger you've learned to fear. I swallowed the urge to speak, to cry, to throw the papers back at them. I had rehearsed this moment 1,000 times, but nothing can fully prepare you for the venom in your own parents' words. Take a second to subscribe and tell me your location in the comments. I want to know where my story is reaching. Hearts tonight. Then the judge spoke. "Is this your position, Madam Mercer?" Her voice was calm, precise, like a scalpel. Silence filled the room. My parents stiffened. They hadn't expected her to challenge them, hadn't expected authority to side with common sense. My throat tightened. I could feel the collective gaze of every person in the courtroom, friends, strangers, court staff, burning into me. And then it happened. My mother stood, flailing, demanding I sign over my accounts before the hearing even began. If you're feeling the tension, hit the like button and comment "justice" below to support anyone who's ever had to stand up to toxic family. The judge's hand lifted slightly. "Security, please." My blood ran cold. I froze. In that instant, I realized this wasn't just a fight over money. This was the first time in my life someone, other than me, had put a line in the sand. Someone who refused to let my parents' aggression slide. I straightened my spine and prepared to speak, knowing that the next words I said could change everything. I didn't get here overnight. For years, I'd been the family's bank, the unpaid counselor, the one who absorbed their drama and kept smiling. Remember my 20s spent working? Double shifts as a nurse, scrubbing floors, comforting strangers, and saving every dollar I could. My parents always had some. Emergency, car repairs, medical bills, church donations, and somehow, I was expected to cover it all. I never complained. That's what they counted on. My silence, my compliance, my guilt. Before we go further, hit that subscribe button and leave a comment if you've ever felt drained by family. Obligations, you're not alone. Every month, I'd calculate their demands down to the last cent. I remember sitting at my tiny kitchen table, bills stacked high, calculator in hand, and wondering if I'd ever have a life of my own. My apartment smelled like takeout and disinfectant. My car had more dents than paint. And my dreams were always on hold, but I loved them, or at least I thought I did. I thought this was what family meant. Sacrifice. Responsibility, loyalty. I remember the night I discovered my mother had been hiding money from me. I'd stopped by for a routine Sunday dinner, only to overhear her laughing on the phone with my aunt. Don't let Faith find out. She's too busy paying for our mortgage. I froze in the doorway, heart pounding, realizing that every penny I'd sent had been wasted, or worse, pocketed. My grandmother's inheritance, which I thought had helped keep them afloat, had been quietly funneled into accounts I didn't know existed. I felt a rage I hadn't known I was capable of. If this hits close to home, drop a like and comment. I feel you'd hear your story too. It wasn't just the money. It was the little betrayals that cut deeper than any financial loss. The way my sister's successes were always celebrated, while mine were barely acknowledged. The way my mother glossed over my promotions, my overtime, my sacrifices, as if they were invisible. I'd watched them prioritize appearances, social media, and church image over honesty and fairness, and I'd stayed quiet because that was easier than fighting. Because I believed I was protecting the peace. But peace isn't silence. Peace isn't paying your family while they plan your humiliation. And I realized as I sat in my living room that night that survival sometimes means standing up, even if it's terrifying. Couldn't rewrite the past, but I could control what happened next. I could prepare. I could document. I could make sure that when my parents tried to humiliate me in front of everyone, the truth would be louder than their lies. If you're inspired to stand up for yourself, hit subscribe and comment truth below. I want to see how many of us are ready to reclaim our lives. That's when I knew. This birthday confrontation wasn't just a test of finances or pride. It was the ultimate reckoning, and I was ready to walk into that courtroom. Armed with more than words had proof I had courage. And for the first time in my life, I had boundaries they couldn't erase.